Okay, so I ran out of time to actually make the videos of me writing it, so I'm just going to talk through the problems that you need to copy down. And so if you want to copy it down first and then listen to me, that's fine, or you can listen to me then copy it down. It's up to you. So when you have an absolute value equation and inequality, this should be one of the ones that has two sections. You see there? We had one of the ones that we split in half. This should be one of those that you split in half. So remember, the first thing you have to do is get the absolute value alone. This absolute value was alone, so I could break it down. And so the first one stayed exactly the same, but the second one, the answer became negative. And then you would solve both of those. Remember, one of the things that you have to do is you have to make sure that if it equals a negative or it's less than a negative, then it's a no solution. It can be bigger than a negative, but it can't be less than a negative. So here's as hard as the problem's going to get, where you have things on the outside. And so I have 3 absolute value of x minus 1. X plus 1 minus 4 is greater than 5. So you get rid of the outside stuff first, so I'm going to get rid of a minus 4 by adding 4. And then this here was 3 times the absolute value, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And so now I have my absolute value, which is a positive, so it meets the condition, so now I break it down. And the first one stays exactly the same, but the second one, I make it negative, and because I made it negative, I have to flip that inequality. And then you would solve those. Okay? This was in the beginning unit section, chapter, or unit A, so you can go back and look at those. The next type we have is compound inequality. Remember, if you have an and comes together, and it's a dumbbell. If you have an and it doesn't overlap and then it goes opposite ways, then that's a no solution, because and problems are where they overlap. A compound inequality is an or problem, so it goes one way or the other. If you have an or problem that faces each other, they're going to overlap forever, so that's all reals. Remember, when you have and or problems, you do one problem at a time, covering up the other one. And then here, what I did is, here's one with 3 together. And so remember, if you have a 3 section one, to get rid of a plus 4, you minus 4, but you have to do it in all 3 sections. And then I would get rid of this times 2 divided by 2. And then there is my final answer. So these 2 boxes of absolute value equations and inequalities and compound inequalities, these are parts 1 and 3 on your test review.